43. Manly Prudence.
We had a few chapters that broke away from the usual polemic style, and were more like stories. This chapter returns to normal, and is just a speech that Zarathustra gives. But it is informed by what he went through in those chapters.
Not the height, it is the declivity that is terrible. The declivity, where the gaze shooteth downwards and the hand graspeth upwards, there doth the heart become giddy through its double will. Ah, friends, do ye divine also my heart's double will? This is my declivity and my danger, that my gaze shooteth towards the summit, and my hand would fain clutch and lean on the depth.
Zarathustra employs the metaphor of a declivity. When you find yourself on the precipice and react instinctively, your gaze shooting downwards while your hand reaches up to grasp onto something and save you from the fall. But then he turns it upside down when he talks about his own spirit. His spirit, we already know, is drawn to fly upwards to heights of happiness no man has reached before. Here, however, he describes it as if he is being pulled upwards, as if gravity reversed its direction, compelling him to reach with his hand downwards to prevent himself from falling all the way up. Which makes us wonder, why does he mind falling upwards? Isn't that what he wanted? And what does it mean, in the spiritual sense, that you reach down to hold on to something?
To man clingeth my will, with chains do I bind myself to man, because I am pulled upwards to the Superman, for thither doth mine other will tend.
Well, well, well. Look who's back! The Superman! We haven't heard about him for a while. What brought him back? Let's recall the spiritual journey we went through. Zarathustra was all about getting to the Superman, a being that is beyond man, a being that has transformed human consciousness in a way that all the things that currently cause us suffering will become things that give him joy. But then he realized that there's a problem with this vision. A Superman is someone who has nowhere to grow, and without growth there can be no real happiness. This caused a crisis, and he came out of it by shifting his focus from the future to the present. Instead of trying to get to a Superman in the future, he was now about achieving self-surpassing in the present, as the feeling generated by self-surpassing is the greatest joy of all. The new solution, then, was to just self-surpass again and again, remain happy in the present, and thus live a happy life. But this solution didn't last long. In the previous chapter, Redemption, we saw him realizing that he cannot be happy in the present, as long as he sees all those humans around him, who are mere fragments of what they could be. He set himself a future goal again, to put all the fragments together and create a healthier man, and he added something more. We also need to transform and redeem all the bad memories from humanity's past to achieve true happiness. Here, he realizes that he is once again thinking about the Superman, who will be that healthy man without bad memories. The Superman, it turns out, has a draw on his mind, which he cannot fully resist. Then again, he did not forget his insight that the Superman must remain a target that he directs himself towards, but must never achieve, because he wants to leave space for himself to grow. This is why he is reaching downwards, holding on to his humanity, not allowing himself to be pulled all the way up. The idea of the Superman may be back, but it is synthesized with the newer ideas.
And therefore do I live blindly among men, as if I knew them not, that my hand may not entirely lose belief in firmness. I know not, you men, this gloom and consolation is often spread around me.
Keeping in touch with his humanity can only be achieved by living among other humans. But he is so different from them that he feels completely alienated. There is also something good about this alienation, though. Because he is blind to their ways, he can tolerate them.
I sit at the gateway for every rogue and ask, who wisheth to deceive me? This is my first manly prudence, that I allow myself to be deceived, so as not to be on my guard against deceivers. Ah, if I were on my guard against man, how could man be an anchor to my ball? Too easily would I be pulled upwards and away. This providence is over my fate, that I have to be without foresight.
Zarathustra now starts to count what he calls his manly prudences that help him live among other humans. One is that he doesn't mind if they deceive him. He is strong enough to take it, so he can tolerate their deceitful ways.
And he who would not languish amongst men must learn to drink out of all glasses, and he who would keep clean amongst men must know how to wash himself even with dirty water. And thus spake I often to myself for consolation, Courage, cheer up, old heart, an unhappiness hath failed to befall thee. Enjoy that as thy happiness.
He even finds little joys in living among humans, like satisfaction in the fact that he isn't hurt by behaviors that other people would be hurt by.
This, however, is mine other manly prudence. I am more forbearing to the vain than to the proud. Is not wounded vanity the mother of all tragedies? Where, however, pride is wounded, there groweth up something better than pride.
The second prudence is that he has more patience and kindness to the vain than to the proud. Why? Because he knows the proud can take it if he is wicked towards them. He is himself proud, and the eagle of his pride makes him soar and overcome all the slings and arrows that might be thrown his way. The vain, however, are a different story.
That life may be fair to behold, its game must be well played. For that purpose, however, it needeth good actors. Good actors have I found all the vain ones. They play and wish people to be fond of beholding them. All their spirit is in this wish. They represent themselves, they invent themselves. In their neighbourhood I like to look upon life. It cureth of melancholy. Therefore am I forbearing to the vain, because they are the physicians of my melancholy, and keep me attached to man as to a drama.
The vain have no inner pride to carry them through. Their self-image relies on what others think of them. Thus, they play out their life in the eyes of others. Zarathustra sees through their charade, and it amuses him. They make living among humans more bearable for him. Because of that, he finds value in them, and can be tolerant of their ways.
And further, who conceiveth the full depth of the modesty of the vain man? I am favourable to him and sympathetic on account of his modesty. From you would he learn his belief in himself. He feedeth upon your glances. He eateth praise out of your hands. Your lies doth he even believe when you lie favourably about him, for in its depths sigheth his heart, What am I? And if that be the true virtue which is unconscious of itself, well, the vain man is unconscious of his modesty.
The other reason he can tolerate their vanity is that he knows it is actually a mask to disguise how little they think of themselves. Unlike the proud, who are able to take his barbs, the vain are weak in character and would have a bad reaction. So he leaves them alone.
This is, however, my third manly prudence. I am not put out of conceit with the wicked by your timorousness. I am happy to see the marvels the warm sun hatcheth, tigers and palms and rattlesnakes. Also amongst men there is a beautiful brood of the warm sun, and much that is marvellous in the wicked.
The third manly prudence that helps him live among humans is that he doesn't mind wickedness. Wickedness, to Zarathustra, is simply another manifestation of the will to power. It has its own beauty and its own merits.
In truth, as your wisest did not seem to me so very wise, so found I also human wickedness below the fame of it. And oft did I ask with a shake of the head, Why still rattle, ye rattlesnakes? Verily there is still a future even for evil, and the warmest south is still undiscovered by man.
Actually, he says, humans are not wicked enough. They are capable of much greater evil. And this is important, because
how many things are now called the worst wickedness, which are only 12 feet broad and 3 months long? Some day, however, will greater dragons come into the world. For that the Superman may not lack his dragon, the super-dragon that is worthy of him, there must still much warm sun glow on moist virgin forests. Out of your wild cats must tigers have evolved, and out of your poison toads crocodiles, for the good hunter shall have a good hunt.
we heard this already. Evil contains the energy from which, once you overcome it and transform it into good, you can achieve greater heights. The more powerful and happy you become, the greater dragons of evil can you open yourself to, do battle with, and transform into good. Eventually, you will be able to face a super dragon and become a Superman by overcoming it. But humans have been rendered weak by Western civilization, so they are incapable of great evil, and consequently of great good. Nevertheless, the greater evil, presented in the metaphor of the warm sun that glows far in the south, in a place where men did not yet visit, is something that resides in their being.
And verily, ye good and just, in you there is much to be laughed at, and especially your fear of what hath hitherto been called the devil. So alien are ye in your souls to what is great, that to you the Superman would be frightful in his goodness. And ye wise and knowing ones, ye would flee from the solar glow of the wisdom in which the Superman joyfully batheth his nakedness. Ye highest men who have come within my ken, this is my doubt of you, and my secret laughter. I suspect you would call my Superman a devil.
Those who are weak are frightened not only by great evil, but also by great good. The levels of joy you achieve as a Superman are ones that they are incapable of containing in their soul. Zarathustra predicts that they will confuse the Superman with the devil.
I became tired of those highest and best ones. From their height did I long to be up, out, and away to the Superman. A horror came over me when I saw those best ones naked. Then there grew for me the pinions to soar away into distant futures. Into more distant futures, into more southern souths than ever artist dreamed of thither, where gods are ashamed of all clothes.
He repeats what is said in the Land of Culture, that the sight of present-day humans in their nakedness disgusts him. It exposes how decayed and weak they are. Here, he specifies that he talks mainly of those humans that today are considered the highest and best ones. This is why he had to run away from them and invent a Superman, who will be so beautiful that he will be ashamed to wear clothes.
But disguised do I want to see you, ye neighbours and fellow men, and well attired and vain and estimable, as the good and just. And disguised will I myself sit amongst you, that I may mistake you and myself, for that is my last manly prudence. Thus spake Zarathustra.
Until then, however, he asks present-day humans to keep their clothes on, keep hiding their wretched bodies and souls. This is the only way he can bear sitting amongst them, and the only way he can hide his difference from them so they can accept him. The last manly prudence is his ability to ignore his difference from others, to imagine that he belongs among them. With this prudence, and those mentioned before, he can keep on interacting with humans, keep holding on to his human side, and not lose himself in the Superman dream.